What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 2 of the KIRIO House podcast. My name is Craig Kiriokis. This is Merle.
Hi, I'm Merle. Just kidding. It's Mercedes.
So today we wanted to talk about 5 things that you should be doing as a new real estate agent, especially in this market, because let's face it, things are changing, things are shifting, and that's okay.
Getting shifty.
It's getting shifty. It is getting a little shifty, but it's not the end of the world.
No.
And I want agents to understand that. And especially if you're a new agent, or if you're thinking about coming into real estate, you might hear some people say it's not a good time or it's not the right time. Don't listen. Don't listen to them. Okay? Because
Crazy talk.
let's get real. If you are wanting to create a life of, let's say, financial freedom or just freedom in general, there's almost nothing better. I don't know anything better than real estate. You're able to generate a healthy income. You run your own schedule.
Yep.
You are your own brand. I mean, you're a self-sustained business, or you're
I'm saying to create your own schedule, because especially at first you can create your own schedule, but you do work every day.
You do work every day. That's true. And I think the idea is let's say after 5 years, maybe 10 years, I think that's the point where you're really like, you have enough established business where you can make up your own schedule. And hopefully you've got like all of the pillars in place at that point that you don't need to like actively get out.
Hopefully you have help by then too.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, so 5 things that you should be doing as a new realtor. If you're not already licensed, the first thing is you should get licensed.
Get licensed.
So how did you get licensed, Mercedes? And what?
Save your money.
And save your money.
I had no idea how expensive it was going to be, but we can get into that later. But I took the course through the CE shop. Bo sent me the link. I think Exit partnered up with them, actually.
Yes.
Which is awesome. But I found it to be amazing.
Yeah. What was amazing about it?
Well, it's easy to go through as far as like it tracked the percentage and it quizzed you, which I'm sure they all do that. But at the end, and I've only taken one, so I can't speak on it. But at the end, it had a really great supplemental part that wasn't part of the course. Like I finished the course. Hello. And then it had tests that I could take to prepare me.
Oh, yeah. Practice tests.
Yeah. But if I didn't have those, I think I would have totally failed my test.
You would have bombed.
Yeah.
But you passed it the first time.
86.
Hey!
I'm bragging about it.
Well, and you should.
I was panicked.
What's the minimum?
Google it. I think the minimum is like 70.
Yeah.
70 or 75.
I think
but
you're right.
if you Google it, it says only 55% of people pass it on the first try. That's scary.
That is scary.
And I'm just...
Well, and you know what's a scarier number? Is 90% of people that get into real estate sales will fail in their first year.
Yeah.
That's a scary number.
Freaky. And you're just like, oh my gosh.
So if you think about it, you've got a 10% chance of making it in real estate.
Yeah. And you just have to go to a testing center to take the test. Once you finish the course, you have to schedule it. You have to get a background check. You do fingerprints. And then you can you have to apply to take the test first off. Then they get back with you within a couple of days. Well, it took mine like a week for my background check. And then you go apply. Then you have to go to a testing center, which I hadn't been in a testing center in 10 years.
Yeah.
So there's anxiety around that.
And you gotta put your headphones on.
Oh yeah, like I was like whispering the questions to him across the room, like reading them out loud. He's like, "What was it?" I was like,
"Yeah." And meanwhile, the testing center's like freezing.
No.
And yours wasn't? Mine was.
It must have been ice cold in there because you're always sweating.
Dang it.
Just
okay.
Kidding. Well, not really. But.
No, I'm usually always sweating.
But that was anxiety producing, and living in Guthrie, like everyone knew I was taking the test. I was taking it, so it was pretty scary. But I passed.
You're done. 86.
And then you have to sign up for a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of steps after you get your license.
Yeah,
you pass your test.
That's when you get the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, then you have to sign up with the board it was crazy.
There's a big to-do list.
There is a big to-do list.
Yeah.
That was kind of overwhelming.
So I guess the first step is getting licensed.
Yes.
But
And
sort
you
of
have to have a brokerage.
while you're doing that, you need to be shopping for a brokerage.
Right.
You had pretty much already decided that you were going to go with Exit,
Right.
I think, but not everybody knows about Exit. Not everyone knows like what brokerage to join or why. And so, coming into the real estate industry, if you're shopping for a brokerage, a few things that I think you should be looking for. One, I'm a big believer that your vibe attracts your tribe, right? So
I know you've already said that on this. Why don't you say how you found Exit?
well, because I actually found it the same way you did.
Oh.
So, but I think that's probably, that might be the way that most people end up finding their brokerage rather than like shopping and interviewing for brokerages. They probably know someone that like is already at that brokerage. So I bought my house from Krista.
Oh, really?
Yes. She had
That's why Krista's in all of this.
Yes. So, and so for any of you that don't know, Krista is an agent at our office. Her and her husband, Bo, own the brokerage with Veda, and she has an incredible book of business. She has built it up over, I think, 8 or 9 years. I've had her on the podcast, and she's fantastic.
She's awesome.
She really is. And she is so giving and generous with helping new agents get started. She lets them hold her houses open and just very supportive. But that's how I found Exit. Okay. I bought my house from Krista, and I had already been planning for a while to get into real estate. And so once I started learning about the value propositions at Exit, I was just sold. I was done. I think I actually only went and met and talked with them like once about real estate, and I was in.
It's just a feeling.
Yeah. 100%.
Even just from other jobs, even though it's so totally different from anything I've done in the past, you can just tell if you're going to get along with the people or not.
Yes.
And pretty much that's how I choose things, I feel like.
Well,
if I don't like the people that I'm around, then it's going to be like not going to be a good fit.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, and if you're shopping for a brokerage and you're wondering what kind of questions to ask, here's a couple of things you should be thinking about. One, like, what's the culture like? Because at most brokerages now, a lot of people are very independent, and real estate is a very independent sort of job. Like, you're by yourself a lot,
very
right?
much so.
But I think you also want to find an office where people are available. Like, the leadership is available. If you have questions or you need help or you're writing your first contract or whatever it is, you want leadership to be available. Right. Yeah. I think you also want to be in a culture that promotes, what am I trying to say? A healthy culture.
Culture where it's not ultra competitive.
Yeah, and like cutthroat and people like walking over people,
like whispering about their deals going on because they don't want you to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't want that toxic culture going on at work at all. Like, you want to be in a place where everyone wants you to succeed.
Everyone's rooting for you.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. That sort of like cutthroat competitive thing is, I think, like rooted in a fear mindset. It's like, I need that business, so you can't have it. Or, right. That jealousy or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think that there's more than enough market share for everyone.
It benefits everybody.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So culture, leadership, technology is another thing. And that's something big at Exit.
Yes.
So what did you find technology-wise at Exit that you liked?
I think their website's great. The way that they have everybody's bios, and then you just click on their name, you can see all of their listings. You can see reviews. You can see anything about. It's just nice landing page per se. So. Okay.
What did you think of the mobile business card?
We use that thing all the time. Mobile business card is amazing. Thing. You just pull it up, people can scan it and download everything. Yep. And save it to their contacts just like that.
So if you're watching, Let me show you. This is what we do. So we have a QR code on our phone, and we literally just pull that up.
I think I have mine as
You
my
can
phone
scan it.
background.
There you go. And then you've got our information. And it's really cool. So one of the things,
Everyone's always fascinated by it too. What?
they love it. And when it comes up on the other end, it's got your picture there and it has your name. And then when they click it,
You can call me, email me, text me,
yeah,
download me,
view my website, download me.
download my car. You guys know what I mean.
So technology is super important. There's a lot of things that that Exit offers that other brokerages maybe don't. Like smart sign technology is another one.
Yeah, because without that stuff, you'd have to go make your own website,
Yeah.
pay for your own stuff. I mean, real estate's expensive as it is getting started. So if you had to go pay somebody to give you or make your own website, I don't even know what mine would have turned out looking like.
Amateur.
Horrifying.
Amateur hour.
Horrifyingly simple.
So once you decide on the brokerage, and then you've joined the brokerage, now you're like in it,
And then
right?
what?
What?
Yeah, and then you ask yourself, now what?
Now what? And so that's the scary part, because you get into this like business of being self-employed. Your paycheck is literally dependent on you selling a house. And you're like, okay, I know where the houses are, but where are the people that buy them?
Right.
You don't know. And so that's the scary thing when you're coming into real estate. And it's another reason that the culture and the brokerage you choose is so important. Because you want to be put in, or you want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to thrive. But the next most important thing is make a business plan. I like to use Earl Nightingale's analogy about a ship without a plan. So he talks about you could ask any captain on any ship what the next port of call is, and he would be able to tell you with no hesitation the ship's destination, right?
Okay.
And
Sure.
and you liken that to your plan in real estate. So you want to have a plan. You want to know where you're going and how you're going to get there. And so I think the second thing you should do after you find a brokerage is make a business plan. All right. So you want to connect the dots between the actions that you need to do on a daily basis and the end result, which is you selling houses.
Yeah.
So
And that's confusing if you've never done one. But Craig helped me. Thank goodness.
yeah, well, and it's something that you need to do. And again, like Exit's culture fosters that. Like,
Right.
And also with us being on a team, I want to know like what your goals are. And I think you should know what my goals are. And we should be working to achieve those together. And I think there's magic in the idea of like, let's do this.
Right.
So now you're not just out by yourself and it's scary and everything. Now you're working with someone, you're teaming up, you're going out and doing it together.
Yeah, I
It
think
makes it a lot easier.
I'm a fairly confident person to begin with, but if being in a new field, you're trying to approach a buyer or a seller and you're just like, hey, I've been doing this for 6 weeks, but it feels better being able to be like, hey, I'm on this team. I have great support. I'm part of this great brokerage. It just gives you a little bit more emphasis behind, what you're saying and the services you're bringing to them.
And yeah, some additional confidence too.
Yeah.
You know that if you don't have the answer, you can just pick up the phone and get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like the key key in any job, but in real estate, I'm not going to have the answer most of the time, especially starting out. So being able to know that I can call you, Bo, Krista, Veda, whoever, and one of y'all are going to pick up and I can have the answer for a client pretty much instantly is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So also, I think in addition to making a business plan, you need to decide how far in you're going. And what I mean is, are you going full time? Is this how you're going to pay your bills? Or are you, going to go in part time, kind of help out friends and family as those people have a need? What's your level of in? Mine was burn the boats. And so when I got into real estate, I
Boats.
literally.
I've never heard anyone say that.
Oh, hold up! You've
Burn
never
the boat.
burn the boats. Aiden, she's never heard burn the boats. Okay, wait, we need to back up.
Learning moment.
What
Burn
is?
the boats. All right,
I
so
mean, I get the concept, but I've just never heard anyone say it.
okay, so it goes back to this this
There's another
Spanish
quote coming.
Well, it's a story. It's an anecdote. But there's this Spanish armada that was, I forget what the land was that they were taking. But they basically get to this like island or this land and they get on their little dinghies, right? And all the, knew that was going to happen. They get on their dinghies and they go to shore. And then the captain gives the order for the men to burn the boats.
So they can't go back.
So they can't go back. And the idea was they were going to fight, bigger force. They were on the shore. They were trying to take the land. And if there was a method to retreat, then the men would not fight as fiercely. And so the idea is if you need to succeed, you burn the fucking boats.
I get it. I get the concept.
So that's what I had to do because I literally went and bought a house and then quit my job.
Yeah.
And then got licensed. And then I had to go find out how to do this. And it took me 6 months to close a deal.
Panic.
A major panic.
Yeah.
And so in addition to like making a business plan, you should also plan your savings. That's very important.
Don't, just being in it full time, I can't imagine doing it part time.
I don't know.
Personally, I mean, I've heard of people doing it, but it'll probably be years before I sell a house to one of my friends and family. I feel like it's all going to be new people I'm meeting because,
right?
I mean, and half the time they probably won't even use me. Hopefully they will, but there's always a chance that they use somebody else.
That's true.
So anyways, part-time seems like it would be hard.
I always say there's two buckets of people in this world. There's the people you know and the people you don't know.
And there's a lot more people that you don't know.
Exactly. So, exactly. So,
Ding.
Next thing, show up consistently.
Yes.
Okay. So, if you're going into real estate full time and you want to earn a living and build a business, you have to show up consistently. You have to show up and do the things.
And just because you're making your own schedule doesn't mean sleep until 10 every day.
Exactly.
And then don't go into the office, don't do anything.
Well, and that goes back to culture, right?
Yeah.
Because if your brokerage doesn't foster that culture where people do go to the office and like do that, then
I mean, what are you going to do sitting in your house? You're not going to meet anybody sitting in your house.
no. Well, and okay, everyone's different, but I did the home office thing for a while. And it was hard for me to separate work from home.
Yeah.
And so what I found was, and I'm naturally a workaholic anyway, but I found that I would work all the time, just all the time.
Yeah.
And I was also super distracted because I'd be sitting in the office and I'd hear the dogs barking or, like I would, I don't
Eat a
know,
snack.
feel like I need to take the trash out. I need to clean counters. I need to, sidetracked by a million and one things.
I can't stop eating when I'm home.
And there's
Right.
that too. Yeah. And so for me, the answer was get in the office.
Yeah.
And just work. Right. But showing up consistently is super important because it's easy as a realtor to get sidetracked. Let's say you close a transaction for someone, you're getting a, $5,000 or $6,000 check and you're like, cool, I earned this.
Vacation
Yeah, vacation. Let me relax for a little bit. Oh, I had to work so hard the last couple weeks. Like, let me take some time off. And all of those things are so tempting, but you have to constantly be looking 3 months out.
Well, yeah, because it might take 3 months for you to get paid again.
Exactly. And
You
so
should already be working.
you're working for the next 3 months.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's important to just get consistent and to realize that it's boring and it's okay.
You feel like you need to elaborate.
I do need
That's
to elaborate.
boring.
So the things that you do on a regular basis are boring and it's okay. Like as a realtor, so the majority of your time is you're like making it.
Maybe I still think it's exciting because it's new to me.
Yeah. Well, and it is exciting, but the things that you do on a regular basis, I feel like are boring. Monotonous. You're like responding to emails, you're
Yes.
reading documents, you're looking through inspections, you're putting together contracts, you're making phone calls. These aren't like super exciting things.
No, I suppose not.
But there are things that have to be done, and that is the business, right? And so it's just important, I think, to accept that it's not always going to be super fun.
Oh yeah, you're not closing deals every day yet. So you got to do the work in the meantime. Yeah.
Exactly. And so that leads me to the next point, which is detach from the outcome.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That is super hard for people to do because you want to judge the success of a day based on your harvest, right? Like, so what did I do today? Or like, what did I get out of the day? And in real estate, that's not the case. Like, you're not winning every day. Like you said, you're not closing houses every day. So how do you stay consistent when you're not getting the reward?
Yeah. I guess you just have to revert back to like what your business plan is and just keep following it. Otherwise, if you don't stay consistent and do stuff every day, then you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah. You just keep hammering.
It's like going to the gym.
Exactly.
You just got to keep swimming.
Okay, Dory.
I'm not going to sing. I told you I wasn't going to sing. I almost did.
I almost did just
I
now.
stopped
Just
myself
keep
because I
swimming,
cannot
just keep swimming.
hold a note.
Freya keeps rubbing on my feet. I don't know what it is about shoes. She loves them.
Well, they want to just rub up against something.
So annoying. So detach from the outcome. It is incredibly important to completely detach. There are actions that you need to take on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. And as long as you are doing those, and like you said, reverting back to your business plan, staying consistent, the results will come.
Right.
So you can't, if you have a bad week or a bad day or even a bad month, you can't be like, oh, that's it. Like this isn't meant to be. Let me go back to my job. Let me do this.
For example, yourself.
Elaborate.
Well, because you say you closed, 25 houses in your first year?
Yes.
But that was after 6 months of not doing anything.
So,
not saying you didn't do anything for 6 months. You were doing stuff every day for 6 months without having an outcome.
Yeah, with no results. And that was like excruciating for me because it was 2021 that I was like really getting going. And you're hearing from everyone around you that the real estate market is on fire and real estate agents are making more money than they ever have in history and, just all of these things. And I'm like,
not me.
Can I just get a paycheck? My mortgage is due.
Yeah.
I am having problems. And it literally took me 6 months to close one transaction.
Yeah.
But then from month 6 to month 12, I closed 25.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But that all came from the first 6 months.
Right.
And so in my mind, I had to shift my perspective because I was doing the things. I was working, but I just wasn't seeing a paycheck for 6 months.
Yeah.
So, but I'll tell you what, the amazing thing was after that first 6 months was the hardest. And then after that, it just like I got the momentum and then it just started working.
Yeah. But how were you feeling in like month 5 trying to like meet clients? How did you make yourself not smell like you were in dire need?
No, I would wake up and cry and then drink my coffee and then I would get on. No, I'm just kidding. No, honestly, it was hard. Like I had a little bit of money saved up. But what I was seeing was that money was like getting spent and I didn't have any coming in. And so it was just scary seeing your savings dwindle down. I think at my lowest, I think I had maybe like $500 in my savings and we were probably like overdrawn $400. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The dues are not cheap when you start out and then you want to pay for your open house stuff and everything. Every app you use is like a subscription. And
yes, it's not cheap.
He's heard me complain. I'm like, $25.
And that's a month.
Yeah, that adds up. But yeah, if you just stick with it, I think, I'm coaching myself that because I know I need to do it myself, but you always have to do an off day every now and then, right? A lighter day.
100%.
So you don't burn yourself out in those 6 months before you make money.
Well, so I'm a big believer that I'm always on, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always working, but I have lighter times.
Yeah.
So, like for instance, Friday afternoon. I'm gonna knock this thing over. Friday afternoon, we at like maybe what was that, like 3 o'clock or something. It was sort of drizzling outside. We were gonna go do some door knocking, but the weather kind of sucked, and
Right.
so we were like, you know what? Let's kind of take the afternoon off. And
That's good for your mental health.
it is good for your mental health. And I still got some phone calls later that afternoon, and that's fine. You're running a business. You have to be available, but it's good to like check out for a little bit.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll be one of the 90% of people that don't make it.
Exactly.
Probably.
I want to be one of the 10% that do.
Exactly.
And so on that note,
Make it through your list.
no, we've got one more actually.
Oh, okay.
So that was number 4. Number 5 is you have to be your biggest fan. You got to be your biggest cheerleader, and it's okay. I think it took me a long time to get out of my shell. Actually, I'm still trying to get out of my shell.
It's hard. You have to tell everybody multiple times what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's a
Well-
button that's loose on this chair.
Is it bothering you?
I just keep messing with it. I'm afraid I'm going to rip it off. I need to like put my hands over here.
Just like hold your hands up.
Okay. Actually, I put self tanner on yesterday, so my hands are orange.
Gosh.
Which is funny because I'm wearing a full sweater today, so there's no point for that. But
Yeah.
anyways, what were you saying? Oh, cheerleader.
You got to be your biggest cheerleader.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think one of the big things that that I really believe is something Mel Robbins said, and
Here's
that
another quote, folks.
no one's coming.
No one's coming.
No one's coming to
No
do
one
this
will
for
save
you.
you.
No one's going to save you. No one's going to make your calls for you.
No.
One's going to go knock on doors for you. No one's going to market for you. No one's going to do
No one's
you.
going to know you're a real estate agent unless you tell them.
Exactly. And so you have to take responsibility for your business.
Yeah.
And so in addition to like going out and actually doing the things and doing them consistently, you've got to get out of your own way.
Post about it. Message
about
people
it.
about it. Call
Yeah.
people about it.
Yeah.
Post about it some more.
Yeah.
And then do it again the next day and the next day and the next day.
And you just keep doing it.
I feel like I'm not even posting that much, and was kind of scared I was being annoying. But I've had multiple friends, and now just yesterday, somebody that I don't even know from Florida tell me that they liked the stuff I was posting.
That's
So
awesome.
it's kind of a nice little piece of encouragement.
Yeah.
But
Well, so did you feel self-conscious when you were transitioning into real estate and you were like trying to be your cheerleader and you're like putting yourself out there?
it's kind of like you don't want to do. You feel like you're being cheesy kind of at first. You're like, got my license, and now you're posting about it all the time when I wasn't posting a bunch on social media. I mean, normal stuff, that you
Yeah.
got coffee that day or something. But now I was trying to find a way, and I still
got
am trying to find a way where I'm not like, I don't know. I want to tell everybody about it. I want to tell people what I'm doing, but I don't really want to come across not authentic and not be myself. So I'm trying to
Okay.
find a balance in that, but also remind people every day that I'm a real estate agent at the same time. So I think I'm working on it.
I actually think you're doing a great job, and you've encouraged me to be a little bit more active, like on my stories and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so, one of my things is, for some reason, I can like sit and do a podcast or have a conversation, and it's fine. But if I'm holding the phone in front of me, that's when I'm like, what do I say?
That's so funny because I'm the opposite. Although I do probably record a video like at least once or twice sometimes because I'll flub a word or
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I don't want to post this where I'm cussing. I don't know. I mean, I will, but
Well, so again, I do curse.
I do.
I
Curse
do.
or cuss? Kiss.
Cuss.
I haven't said one yet.
Hey, cuz.
Cause I don't know.
But yeah, okay, so Gary Vee talks about cursing,
I thought
and
cursing was taking the Lord's name in vain.
is it?
I don't know. That's what I grew up.
We're getting in the weeds.
That's what we do here.
Gary Vee, break out the trimmers. Wee. I know the weed whacker. The weed whacker.
Quick story.
Uh-oh.
Well, can I tell it?
I don't know. What is the story?
Oh.
I don't know.
How the guy told me that instead of sod, that they planted
Oh
seed.
my gosh. Okay, yeah.
So I was asking this guy who's finishing this house for my client if he was
He's a
going to
builder.
still order sod and put it down. And he's like, well, when we started building, we planted a bunch of Bermuda seed, and I think it's really going to grow like crazy in the spring.
It's going to take off.
It's going to take off. And when I told Bo that, he was like, oh, man. He's like, get your lawnmowers ready. It's like, dude, you've just dug up the whole yard. It's not going to grow.
Yeah, nothing's growing there.
Nothing's growing.
No. And so
Crack me up.
And it's even more funny.
Now, but...
Well, they were supposed to do sod in the beginning. Like it was a thing.
It's a little expensive.
Yeah, he's like, well, sod's pretty expensive. We planted some Bermuda. Like, it doesn't work like that.
November.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's October.
It's just October just started.
I'm sorry.
wait, no,
I'm ahead of
it's almost
myself.
the middle. Anyway, we're still in the weeds.
Okay. Well, back on track.
Yeah, but
Your big post on social media.
But to her point, it is incredibly important to make sure that builders and sellers alike hold up their end of the bargain. So if they say that they're going to put sod down, they need to put sod down and not plant Bermuda months before.
Yeah.
And also, you know what? I call BS because if they planted Bermuda,
It would have already been growing, right?
It would be growing. We would see it sprouted.
I know.
And that lot is all dirt.
Exactly. Well, so I might try, this will be like a stretch, but I'm going to try to tie this back together because I felt like I've asked you multiple times specifically for this client and like following up with things that are happening with this deal. I'm like, am I being annoying? Am I being annoying? And it's like, no, you have to do these things. Like you have to call them again if they didn't call you. Because I'm afraid, I'm like, am I calling them too many times? Am I asking this question too many times? You're like, nope, this is what you have to do. And same thing with social media. You're like, am I being annoying? It's like, really? Like, okay, there's going to be probably a handful of people that are like, oh, this girl's posting every day. Maybe they won't check your story every time. I don't know. But maybe you'll reach somebody new every day.
That's true. That's a good point.
Somebody new might be following you I don't know. So, or some people don't check their stuff every day. So if you don't post every day, then someone might not see it.
Here's where the shift in my brain happened. When you came to Exit and you said that you had been watching the podcasts or listening to the podcasts.
Yeah.
And you were like, there were a few times where you had talked about specific things that were said with like Aaron Lassiter or Sean or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, that's how this all works, is you produce this content that has value and people consume it at different times, right? Like the content is always there.
Sorry.
I know, it's so elementary.
No, I was just thinking about the night before I was supposed to come meet you and Bo. I was like so nervous.
Were
nervous
you?
to meet you.
Oh God.
Which is funny now. I'm just kidding.
No, it is funny.
So I was like, I woke up at like 5 a.m. I for some reason I couldn't sleep. I was like listening to y'all's podcast. I could learn like who you were.
That's another cool thing though, is that people get to know who you are.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh my god.
So they can like,
will not stop watering.
Okay, note to self, don't give Merle that much caffeine in the morning.
I think it's just my allergies.
Oh, is it?
But I have had a lot of caffeine.
Wait, what were we just saying? Oh, yeah.
Listening to your podcast.
The podcasts. And like, so the point that I was just trying to make was people, I'm like trying to get back there.
You were saying that you got some sort of idea about it when I started talking about
that was
things I heard on your podcast.
That was like the aha. I was like, that it's working. Like that's why I'm doing the podcast.
Right.
And so anyway, I'm excited that we're doing it. I'm excited that you're joining me.
I'm pumped.
It's
I've
nice
always wanted to do one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And it's super fun. It's cool to like sit down and carve time out for these conversations and like help people learn how to be a real estate agent.
Yeah.
So any closing tips for people looking to get into real estate based on your experience these last couple months?
I think probably out of all of the steps we went through, probably the most important one is just finding a brokerage that you feel like you're going to have somebody that helps you at.
Okay.
Because I don't think I would be. I think I would have already almost like halfway given up if I didn't have help.
Yeah.
6 weeks in, I would have been like, this freaking stinks. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
You don't know what to do.
This is like, might be way too far off, but I was dental assistant in Flower Mound, Texas, for a great office for 3.5 years before I moved to Houston. And I worked for, got another job at even a bigger office. And even though I'd been doing that for like 3.5 years, I know how to be a dental assistant. Nobody trained me when I got to that office because they just assumed I knew what I was doing. I hated every minute of it.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't know where stuff is. It was just like a whole thing. So I can't imagine not knowing what I was doing. And again, I talked with other people who had worked there and like, yeah, I didn't get trained. I just had to like figure it out.
It's that sink or swim thing.
Right.
I don't like that.
I don't function well. I need someone.
That's my knee.
Jeez. I think I don't understand places that don't help people. I just don't get it. And I don't vibe with people that don't want to have that. Because once I know what I'm doing, I'm going to want to help other people too.
Yeah. And I'm the same way. And I think that's why like I was so eager to start doing a podcast. And I have a little bit of the like teacher thing. Like I want to help teach people and coach people. And this is one way to do it. And, you know, another way is like what we're doing at work with the team. We've got another agent who's coming in from outside the company.
I'm hot.
Oh, I was like, what are we doing over there?
This is the only I'm trying to cool myself down.
No sudden movement.
I'm like, is this the video?
So we've got an agent who's coming in from another brokerage, and she actually got connected with us because of this, like because of the podcast.
Oh, really?
And because of like social media and everything. She saw us, liked the vibe, and called us and said, hey, like, can I come talk with you guys about Exit? We met at the office and talked a little bit about the company, the culture, and, you know, just what she was looking for. Mm-hmm. And she starts with us next week, which is great. So she's not going to join the team right away. She wants to come in, experience the Exit culture, and kind of, you know, get used to the company first, which I think is a smart idea. But it'll give us the opportunity to kind of work with her, get her feet under her. What's interesting is she's been an agent for a couple of years, but hasn't been producing what I think she could be producing because she just hasn't had the right, I think, leadership and coaching around her. So
it's good.
I'm excited about it.
I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm going to be more thankful that I, although I kind of fell into Exit, just the way I've like met Kristen and everything, I always say, I feel lucky that I found Exit and didn't just join some, not Joe Schmo, but, you know, bigger company. I mean, Exit's huge, but you know what I mean?
The big names.
The big names.
Yeah.
And then I would have maybe failed.
Yeah. The support cannot be understated.
I just feel like it really promotes what's the right word? Like, education is like a big deal, and people actually take the time to explain stuff to you instead of just being like, oh yeah, it's this thing.
Yeah.
Go get that form. And you're like,
and I think that's because if you, they say, if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day, teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime.
how many quotes is that now? I should start keeping a tally. It's at least 3 or 4.
I think it's 3. We should.
I'm going to start doing one. We'll have to like put it up on the screen, like Craig's metaphors. Yeah.
But it's so true. It's in real estate as well. Like if you teach someone how to do these things or how to find the things or what documents they're going to use and why, well, then now they know. Right.
Yeah.
And my thought process with that is like some people, I think, not at our company, but some people don't want to give away all of that because they want to be known as like the person that has all the information or whatever. But think about how much easier it makes your job, like as a leader in a company, to have other people under you that know everything that you know.
Well, and it's just like, it's going to make you seem better too. Like, I don't know how to word this right, but like we talk highly of Krista and Bo because they're helpful to us. If we were working under them, like as the Bo being our broker, but he's not somebody that we can go to for help, we wouldn't like talk him up or talk. I don't know.
we wouldn't even be talking about him.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think that it like benefits everybody as the group as a whole, and it's going to be good.
Yeah.
It's already good, but it's going to be better.
Well, and there are a lot of other reasons that if you were an agent looking to, or rather, if you're someone that's wanting to become an agent to choose Exit, one of them I think is Exit gives you the freedom to brand yourself.
Yeah.
And that was big for me because, you know, I knew I wanted to create something. I knew I wanted to create my own. Whoa.
Was that?
That was Rue's whistle.
Oh, it sounds like the Hunger Games.
That's exactly what it was.
Okay. Oh, Rue's whistle. Okay, I
was Rue's
forgot her
whistle.
name was Rue. I was like, I'm glad I picked that up after like two notes.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So that's our time for today. No,
Okay.
no.
Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in. I do want to say this real quick though, with Exit. So there's a couple great things. One is technology, of course. We talked a little bit about that. The residual, I think, is another thing that is amazing. It's a very powerful tool that I think not enough people know about. But if you are a real estate agent, there's no plan for retirement, right? There's no 401k.
Yep.
You've got to manage all that stuff yourself. Also, if you're in sales, you can't ever really take your foot off the gas. You've got to constantly be working, otherwise you don't get a paycheck. And these residuals are great because if I'm able to come in or rather bring other agents into the company and help them, you know, get going, get their feet under them, coach them, train them, like we're doing, you know, we're teaming up. I didn't bring you into the company, but let's say I bring someone in, I get a bonus that's equivalent to 10% of what they produce.
Right.
So if they're getting a $6,000 check, I get a $600 check for nothing. And so I can do that.
For helping.
Well, for helping, yes. But I can do that up to $100,000 a year, which is pretty cool. So that's a very powerful tool. And that stays with you through retirement. So even after you're not actively practicing real estate, you still get a big portion of that.
Who wants to join?
If you are an agent who is at another brokerage and you're not happy or you're not getting the support that you need or that you want, or if you're someone who's coming into real estate and you're shopping for brokerages or interviewing different people and Exit sounds interesting, or if you just want to meet us because we're awesome, please connect with us. I'm Craig Kiriokis. I'm on Instagram, Craig Kiriokis, TikTok, Craig Kiriokis, YouTube, Craig Kiriokis. I'm Craig Kiriokis. You can find me anywhere.
Look it up.
Look
Do you
it
need
up.
to spell your name?
Maybe I should.
I'm Mercedes Simmons, and you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Instagram and TikTok are Mercedes_sells OKC, and Facebook's just Mercedes Simmons.
And I want you to drop a comment below if you think that Mercedes should change all of her social media handles to Merle Sells OKC.
Please vote no.
Thanks so much, guys. We appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.